They say sports bring the world together. Billions laugh, cry, and hold their breath for a ball crossing a line, a runner breaking a record, a team lifting a trophy. Yet somewhere, in a quiet apartment, someone scrolls past the highlights and feels nothing. No thrill, no spark, only stillness. While the rest of the planet beats to one rhythm, they sit apart and wonder, why doesn't this move me? This story is about them, the ones who don't watch sports, the silent observers standing at the edge of humanity's biggest ritual, asking what it really means. Sports have become more than games. They are our modern cathedrals, arenas as temples, jerseys as robes, chants as prayers. They give ordinary people something extraordinary, a shared heartbeat, a moment to merge with millions. Psychologists call it collective effervescence, the electric high when identity dissolves into group emotion.
When your team wins, it's not just joy, it's a brief escape from loneliness. Your brain floods with dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline, the chemistry of belonging. But what happens when your mind doesn't respond to that symphony? When the noise feels more like chaos than connection? That's not apathy, it's difference. Every replay, every near wing, every unpredictable moment, they all dance to the rhythm of dopamine. But some minds don't follow that beat. They find peace in silence, in thought, in creation. They aren't emotionless, they just seek depth over intensity. While the world chases stimulation, they chase understanding. But what if this detachment isn't weakness? What if it's evolution? At its core, sports satisfy an ancient instinct, tribalism, flags, anthems, rivalries, echoes of ancient clans. Supporting a team is just another form of belonging. When our side wins, our primitive brains celebrate safety and dominance. But those who've stepped away, they see the ritual differently. They observe instead of obey. Their identity doesn't depend on we, but on I. They ask, why should colors and strangers decide how I feel? This isn't arrogance, it's awareness. A quiet rebellion against cultural programming. In most societies, sports aren't just games, they're language, a code for friendship, a bridge for belonging. To not speak that language is to risk invisibility. That's why non-watchers are often misunderstood, called dull, disconnected, or detached. But beneath that label lies something rare, the ability to stay untouched by collective frenzy. They sense that enthusiasm has become a social tax, something we're expected to pay to be accepted. So when they choose stillness, they're not rejecting joy, they're reclaiming control of attention. We live in an age of emotional inflation. Every app, every ad, every event screams for our reaction. And when everything demands a feeling, sometimes strength looks like not reacting at all. But what happens when the reward system itself burns out? When constant excitement stops feeling exciting? We live in an era of endless stimulation. Every screen, every sound, every story competing for your emotion. Sports are no exception. They've become another pulse in the endless cycle of hype. But the mind has limits. Neuroscientists call it dopaminergic fatigue, when the brain, overwhelmed by highs, stops feeling them. The thrill fades, the excitement dulls. What once moved you, now just passes through. Those who stop watching sports may not be detached. They may simply be tired. Tired of noise. Tired of reacting. Tired of feeling on command. They seek silence, not apathy, but self-preservation. To watch the crowd without joining it, that's courage. They're not moved by the scoreboard. They're moved by patterns. They see how joy turns to rage in seconds, how unity dissolves into rivalry, how devotion morphs into identity. Sports become mirrors, showing how easily humanity trades individuality for belonging. That insight is both powerful and lonely. When billions cheer, being the one outside the circle can sting, not because they crave to join, but because they wonder, why don't I feel what they feel? But maybe it's not that they feel less. Maybe they simply feel differently. Silence isn't emptiness, it's awareness. But if sports reflect our instincts, what happens when we finally look past the game itself? Here's the twist. This was never really about sports. It's about how we experience life through collective emotion or through conscious reflection. Sports are just the stage. Humanity is the play. When billions cheer as one, the non-watcher becomes a mirror, reflecting how modern identity depends on shared excitement. Their silence isn't cold, it's queer. They see the blueprint of emotion itself. They notice how passion becomes identity, how victory turns to pride, how unity collapses into rivalry. They may never know the rush of a final goal, but they know the calm of not needing one. They've traded adrenaline for awareness and found peace instead of noise. To be different is to stand alone, but also to see clearly. Those who don't watch sports aren't missing out. They're tuned to a deeper frequency, one of observation, thought, and quiet meaning. Because sometimes the loudest truths don't come from the roar of the crowd, but from the silence of a mind that dares not to join it. So to those who don't cheer, you are not strange, you are awake. In a world obsessed with motion, your stillness is not absence, it's wisdom. And maybe, just maybe, you're the only ones truly watching the real game.